Good morning. Hi folks, this is Elena Bullock here with my Blackboard presentation. How are y'all doing this morning? That's great. Let's just jump right into it. As you can see here, this is the overview of the human brain. It is split into two different halves, also known as the hemispheres. Now these hemispheres have a special name. Are you ready? The left and the right hemisphere. Yup, very special. Anyways, it's time for an activity. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're first gonna take our hands and put them in front of us. Now you're gonna take your hands and then form them into a good fist. Now you're gonna take your two fists, put them together, and bam! This is about the same size of your brain, about the same shape too. Pretty crazy, huh? Important that you know that both sides of the brain do look similar but do not carry out the same functions. Now we're going to be flipping over the brain to look at the different lobes on each hemisphere. Now that we have our brain flipped over onto its side, it's time to look at the 4 different lobes of this hemisphere. So the first lobe we're going to look at is the frontal lobe. And believe it or not, the frontal lobe is at the front of the hemisphere. Whoa, the more you know. Next we have the parietal lobe, which is on the top middle of the hemisphere. Next we're going to be looking at the temporal lobe, which is on the bottom middle of the hemisphere. And finally, we have the occipital lobe. Even though it is at the back of the brain, it actually helps with your vision. So it's in the back, of course, for some reason. Well, there's a reason, but we're not going to worry about it right now. Now that we've seen the outside structures of the brain, we're going to take a closer look to the inside. But to do so, we're going to have to chop it in half. Whatcha! Now that we have our perfectly cut brain, we're going to look at the inside structure. So the first structure we have here is the medulla oblongata, and that's the bottom part of the brain stem. Wow. And then next up we have the pons, which is that little bumpy bump right there, which is on the top of the medulla oblongata, still in the brain stem. The final part of the brain stem is this little stripe in the middle, which is actually the spinal cord. And off to the side, right next to the brainstem, is our little friend, the cerebellum. Now, the cerebellum is visible from not only the inside of the brain, but from the outside as well. Up here we have the thalamus, which is a circle-shaped structure. To me, it kind of looks like an eye. But with the thalamus is his best friend, hypothalamus. They've been friends from the very beginning. And even further to the side here is the pituitary gland, which is the smallest of the brain structures. He's so small. Now next we have the corpus callosum, and if you ask me, it's probably the coolest structure because not only does it hold both hemispheres of the brain together, but it also relays information back and forth between the two hemispheres. So definitely the coolest one. So next we have our final structure, or is it 2 structures? We have the cerebrum and the cerebral cortex. So the cerebrum is the actual structure, and then the cerebral cortex is the outer layer of the cerebrum. Those are hard words to say, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, and that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed my video, maybe learned something. You probably learned something. Anyways, I hope you have a great day, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk.